right, we're back. What's up, everybody? We are the Channel 135 podcast, proudly brought to you by the WesWes Network, brought to you by WesWesNet.com. My name's Cams, and I'm here with also all the way from Ranui. Eric, what's up, bro?
What's up, man?
A lot of things happening on TV, man. A lot of good shows on, and a lot of good movies, too. I've been to the movies twice last weekend, and one of those trips I went to watch Sinners, and you went to watch that, too. So yeah, man, keen to do a podcast on the movie. We'll do it in future episodes, but yeah, man, it's good to be back on the Channel 135 talking about the best things for us in life, movies, TV shows, and pop culture. So we'll start with a trailer that we just watched to talk about, and a trailer that stars The Rock. It's a biographical movie, about Mark Kerr, ex-UFC champion back in the days. I think he came up as a wrestler too, I think already he was the champion wrestler for the whole of college and the whole country. He came up from that. The Smashing Machine. It was also a documentary on HBO about his life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I've never heard about this Mark Kerr, because I'm not really into the UFC stuff, but yeah, I've never heard of this Mark Kerr, but it was cool because when I saw the trailer, and we watched the trailer before we jumped on the mics, but seeing Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, coming to be a star in this movie to act as Mark Kerr, they changed his face, all the makeup prosthetics they got to make him look like Mark Kerr, Actually, they look like him. And if you put the pictures of Mark Kerr alongside The Rock in this movie, they look the same, man. So they did a good job with the makeup in that. One thing I saw in the trailer, man, fucking Rock, man, he is huge. Bro, hey. Wow.
It's like he's getting bigger as the older he's getting.
Exactly. And so I was thinking, okay, what better person to have other than Dwayne Johnson for this film? If you're going to do a biopic about a wrestler, as big as that dude was, like if you look at his photos, man, Mark Kerr, he's massive,
Yeah.
So, yeah, good job in selecting The Rock to star in this movie. But you mentioned something that I was kind of thinking about too. Like after we watched the trailer, you had a comment saying, "I think The Rock's going for Oscar."
That's what it looks like. It looks like that.
Because it looks like from the trailer, a lot of emotional scenes. He's there with his girlfriend. Emily Blunt plays his girlfriend, I guess. And yeah, there's, it's one of those biopics that reminds me of the Johnny Cash one, Walk the Line.
Yeah.
So Walk the Line is a biopic of Johnny Cash, and he goes through like drugs and abuse, and he becomes a drunk and drug addict. And his girlfriend at the time sticks with him to put him back on track, get him back on his 2 feet, saves his life. So I'm just wondering if this is similar sort of story, and the way when you see the scenes on the trailer with him talking, I feel like he's like a mild-mannered kind of guy, like softly spoken. He's got a soft voice for, and the stuff that he does. Hey, did you notice that?
Yeah, there's no ego involved. Like there's no aggression. But you wonder how is it possible when he's like the best wrestler or UFC fighter in the world? Where does the power come from?
So, yeah, I guess it's like just not knowing the story of Mark Kerr. Like is this like a film you would want to watch?
I don't know, because I know because my brother's a big fan of the UFC, and I've heard him mention Mark Kerr before. But it'll probably be for someone like that, someone that's a big fan of the UFC that might get into this kind of movie.
Yeah,
especially if they're a fan of Mark Kerr, then yeah. But because I'm not a big fan of UFC that much either, but I am a big fan of wrestling, like the WWE kind of wrestling.
Yeah, I guess for me it's whether Dwayne Johnson could play a part like this. It seems like a serious role to play, and it seems like I feel like because The Rock has been a wrestler, you know what he's like. Like we know who he is. His career has been in wrestling and combat sports, so there's nothing new there. He'll fit in like a glove, like he'll go in there and do all those scenes himself, probably, But yeah, just the serious side of it, like can The Rock pull off an Oscar-winning performance, And I think I'm more interested in that.
Yeah,
But I
Nelly
feel
did. I
like
think.
it's a story we've seen before. But I know it's
Yeah,
going to be. I don't know how different it's going to be to other biopics, but I feel like he's a guy that's going to go through the ups and downs of being the champion, or it looks like he's struggling with health. There's a scene when he's like getting some painkillers or something, and
yeah.
he has a scene when he's arguing with his wife, and I don't know. He just seems like he's talking to himself. He was talking about like how he loves to win. So maybe that's his drive to win. But I wonder what the conflict is to
Yeah.
get him down in the dump so he can come back at the end. There's always that redemption arc, or that arc, that character arc where you'll win all your life until you're not, and then how do
Yeah.
you get back on your feet?
Yeah, because you get that from the trailer. Like you get that, like he's coming back.
Hmm.
So he's like he. It looks like he was a champion before, and then something must have happened, and now he's trying to get back in the game and become champion again.
Yeah.
So yeah, the rise and fall, and then the rise again.
It's produced by A24, and they're a studio that's been awesome with these kind of original stories. You got the big studios like Paramount and Warner Brothers, Disney, and all that, making these big budget $200 million movies, Marvel or whatever it is, special effects and all that.
Mm.
And then what we've seen a lot of those kind of stuff. We've seen a lot of those kind of movies, a lot of those franchise movies, sequels, fantasy, comic books, sci-fi, big budget movies. It's one of those things with these big studios, they don't make those original stories anymore.
Yeah.
They don't tend to make them anymore, so that's why we're getting all these big extravaganzas. So A24 is a company that has seen a niche in the market. They've seen that there's a lack of original content, original movies, original scripts that are made into film, because they got small budgets and that they rely on story. So it's good that it doesn't surprise me that A24 is taking this on, and it's their MO, right? A lot more story-driven movies rather than the big spectacle.
Yeah, I'm just
That's out there.
wondering if it was them that pulled the story out, or if it was The Rock. They had like, hey, I got a story here. Maybe you can make a movie out of it, kind of thing.
Mm.
Because it suits him perfectly. The whole role. Doesn't
Well,
have
it's the
much of
same
an
name as the
emphasis.
documentary. There's been a documentary of this
Yeah.
guy, Mark Kerr. It's on HBO. It's called The Smashing Machine as well.
Ah, okay.
So I think this is a movie version of that documentary, and I'm not sure. I know the director of the movie is the same guy who did Uncut Gems, that Netflix movie with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
That's gone in a lot of raves. But yeah, man, Benny Safdie is his name. He's the director of this film. Yeah, man, it's I probably one of those things that you don't want. I want to go see it at the movies. I wait till it comes online. I watch it online.
Exactly. They need IMAX for that.
Nah, I need IMAX for that. You do need IMAX for Sinners though, and yeah, man, I can't wait to jam that with you. Sinners, lots to talk about, a lot of themes going on there. Yeah, it's one of the best movies so far I've seen in 2025.
I agree.
But now, man, we're here to talk about Last of Us Season 2, Episode 3. And we'll get into some spoilers very soon. But first, I want to just talk about just the background of this episode, what you thought of it, what our thoughts of it was, and where we think it's going. But before we jump the mics, you said this was a weak episode.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say weak, but it wasn't that strong for me.
Mm.
It was just more like just to get the story going where the characters are heading from here on in. Yeah, I didn't find it that compelling. Not like
Yeah.
after last week's episode. Fuck. It's like, I guess you need something to just keep everything calm for
Yeah,
the
that's
next.
interesting.
Yeah, switch it up, well, or switch it down. I would say
because it seems like everything's going backwards. last episode was so action packed that it seemed
Fuck.
that it should have been the second to last episode. Like, we talked about the Game of Thrones model where you have the second to last episode in each season to be the
Yeah,
war, the biggest budget episode of the whole season, because a lot has to happen. Then for the last episode of the season is to calm things down and to set up next season there.
yeah.
So that's what last episode of Last of Us episode 2 felt like. And this episode should have been like the calm down episode from what we got last week. But to me, it wasn't really. The story went forward a lot faster than I thought.
Mm,
I thought it was going to be the whole episode was just going to be the aftermath and how these characters cope with what happened last episode.
yeah,
But I was surprised that I didn't feel like that because we just got over and done with probably the first kind of
20
70% of
minutes.
the episode, and then we get back into the story right away and we just move
Yeah.
on to the point where we just moved away from that. Like, we moved on. So I guess in storytelling, I guess that's a good thing for the audience that we can move on.
Yeah, because they did do a jump, like a time jump, like of 3 months.
Mm.
So I didn't think there was anything important to show in those 3 months that there's time skip. So yeah, no, it was a good plan to move things along really quickly.
So we'll answer my question. So for me, after last episode, can the rest of the series, would it be okay? I think.
Yeah, does it get better?
Or does it get better? Or will it be okay?
Can it be better than episode 2? Because that was pretty intense. It's
Well,
pretty out the gate.
Well, we should talk about it. So that means we're gonna do some spoilers. So, okay, fuck that. We'll do spoilers. We're gonna do a spoiler warning right now and get on with it because otherwise we're gonna spoil shit, and you guys will be mad. But now, if you haven't seen the episode or you haven't even seen any of the episodes, go watch it. Stop this podcast. Go watch it. Then come back and listen to us, and we'll jam. We'll jam.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So that means we're gonna do a recap. So, Last of Us Episode 3, Season 2, The Path, directed by Peter Hoare, written by Craig Mazin. 3 months later, Dinah tells Ellie that the group who killed Joel, members of the Washington Liberation Front, WLF, are based in Seattle. At a small town meeting, several townspeople oppose sending a group to Seattle to track them down. Ellie reads a letter persuading the townspeople to send the group out of justice, not revenge, but the town council rejects the proposal. As Ellie gathers weapons to leave for Seattle alone, Dinah tells her she will join, bringing appropriate supplies and planning this travel route. Seth, who vocally supported Ellie during the town hall, helps them leave Jackson. The following morning, Ellie leaves coffee beans on Joel's grave. Later, she and Dinah encounter a group of dead Seraphites, including a young child, the sight of which causes Dinah to vomit. They arrive in Seattle and note the lack of WLF members. Meanwhile, a convoy of dozens of soldiers march through the streets of Seattle with several armored vehicles, and that was your WesWes recap. So, now we got that out of the way. We're talking about Joel's death, and because Joel died, he was kind of like the man of the whole series, man. If you think about season 1, he was the star. He was the main guy. He was a star. He's the foundation of the whole series, of the whole story. He's the hero trying to take Ellie to where she needs to be. Obviously, he fucks that up, and then 5 years later, he gets killed because he fucked it up. A girl named Abby takes her revenge because he killed her dad, who was a doctor that was trying to extract the cure from Ellie. So we know that happened. But do you think that now that Joel's gone, a big character, this is a big major character that we actually turn the show on to see. He's not there anymore. He's gone. We left with Ellie and her girlfriend. So do you think that they could carry this whole season?
Well, if they are going to carry it, man, Ellie seriously has to step it up, eh?
What way?
And like she's got to be exactly like Joel. She's got to be a killing machine like Joel. Or also, I'm not gonna watch something else. No. But yeah, I think there has to be a character transformation here somewhere for for us to think that this character can carry the rest of the show. The Ellie character, there has to be some kind of transformation where she gets really serious about what she's doing. Because I think to everybody else, it's like a teenager throwing a tantrum, but she's dead certain that she wants to kill this Abby. But everyone else is.
I think it's kind of opposite. I think Ellie is similar to Joel, to a point where they're both action dudes. They're both action people. Like Joel is the guy that will shoot first and ask questions later. And Ellie, because of the way she is, and because I think her journey with Joel, she learned a lot from Joel. Like her ability to take action and to go hot-headed. You know, she's known as, because already she's known as that hothead that lets her anger cloud her judgment, and she'll go in guns blazing. And that's kind of, I feel like that's the kind of attitude Joel has. But Joel's much older; he's more experienced. So even though he can just go in guns blazing and ask questions later, he's that type of guy. He's got more experience on it. Ellie is still young, but she still has that mentality. She's not afraid. She can just go in and do what Joel does. So I think they're similar in that respects when it comes to that. And I think that's why the connection is so tight. That's why you see, Joel's actually replaced her as her daughter. In his eyes, his daughter gets killed in season 1, but his journey with Ellie has made it so that she's like a daughter to him, and he's
Pretty
adopted
much.
that.
Yeah,
and we know that because he saved her life. He killed, potentially was the way to cure all the zombies in the world. He killed the only hope, right? Humanity's hope, to save Ellie. And no person would do that unless that's your own daughter. So I think one of the reasons why, their bond is so tight is because they are similar. And the only difference is that Joel's got more experience than her. But when she's kept from her that secret of that Diana knows who they are, knows the names, knows the WLF logo, knows where they come from in Seattle, keeps it from her for 3 months while she recovers. It was the best thing for her. But at the same time, it's her opportunity to get her anger back and go in guns blazing, because her mentality of just taking revenge straight away is that going ahead guns blazing.
She hasn't thought about it through properly yet.
Well, she hasn't thought about the consequences and all that, but she doesn't care. And would Joel do that? I think he absolutely would. Absolutely would. Joel would do the same thing.
Yeah, true.
He would do the same thing. So that was cool.
I kind of noticed like what you were saying, like especially the scene with Dana when she discovers those bodies of their crew with the scars on their face, and how she starts throwing up, and where Ellie sees it, Ellie's not too bad, so she has a stomach for that kind of violence. Or she's kind of like not sensitized, pretty much.
She's seen so much horrific stuff on their way to
season 1
to Jackson. Yeah.
Just like with that scene with Joel, where he just picks up the kid from the lady, where they're dumping the bodies in the fire, and the lady couldn't do the kid, and Joel just picks up the child and just throws it in the fire without, didn't even care. So it's like, true. And I think about it now, they are more alike than I thought.
Yeah. So coming back to my question, like, who's going to carry the show now that Joel's gone? Like, is Ellie being a female version of Joel enough, or is it? I think it could be. It can be.
Does she have to be worse than Joel for it to be?
Yeah, good point. Does she have to be? Because right now she's still a little kid, man. She was a little shit in that first episode, and you're like, fuck, just do what you're told, man. Like, you have to be like, you can't be a little shit, man. And that's what it felt like to me. Like, she needs a hidey. Joel needs to give her a hidey. But we know that didn't happen. So, I thought this episode was a good episode to get over what happened of last episode. Because a lot of these TV series, what happens is that you get your big budget action episode, and then the next episode, like we said before, is always the calm down episode.
Yeah,
It's the aftermath
leading up,
episode. It's to reflect
leading,
on what happened before. How these characters, how can these characters move on after the big event, or can they? What do they do?
yeah,
You know, and we're always stuck in that sort of episode where it's all characterization. It's knowing how these characters have changed from the big event. Like you said, we skipped 3 months after the attack on Jacksonville, on Jackson, and the town's in good shape again. They'll fixed everything up. Everyone's already buried. They've already got their grave. Everyone's in the grave.
Yeah,
and
I thought that was like, holy shit, everything's already done.
Yeah, it's all done, and it's time to move the story along. And we get sort of over halfway through the episode, and Ellie and Dinah are already off, jumped in their horse and off to Seattle to take their revenge. So I actually thought the ending would be when Ellie went to the grave and gave the coffee beans to Joel's grave, and I thought that'll be the end. They'll be going off, and then I thought that I think that when they reach to Seattle, that's going to be like the second to last episode, and then this will just be the journey from where they are to Seattle.
Yeah,
but we got Seattle straight away, pretty much.
So it looks like they're gonna be showing us if Ellie can carry the show maybe for the next 3 or 4 episodes before she gets to her final. I mean, what she wants to do is kill Abby.
Are you saying that because of what she has to face? Because we've seen the whole fucking army in Seattle.
Yeah, there's that too, and it's so early in the season. Like, it's like the end is in the beginning, kind of thing. Like, the good parts are all in the beginning. Is it gonna get any better than that? We're still in the this is episode 3, right? It's like, holy shit! There's still a lot more episodes to come.
Well, we know what the WLF have. And they got fucking tanks. They got a little army of dudes with machine guns.
Yeah, military.
And here's Abby. Here's Ellie and Dinah, thinking it's just those guys that came to kill Joe away.
Yeah, riding on their horse. That whole scene. That whole scene reminded me of The Walking Dead, where they're riding on a horse into a big massive town. But it's all like covered in vegetation and stuff. I was like, oh shit, just like Walking Dead kind of.
Atlanta, when they get to Atlanta.
But I was just cracking up when the army's like walking through the city. Like, oh shit, these guys are in for a show.
Well, we'll see if how ruthless the WLF are, because if they're the ones that killed those guys that want to be like Joker, that what are they? They're like
they call them scouts. I think Jerry was saying
Seraphites or something.
Yeah,
so they're like cults. Looks like trying to find their way.
Yeah,
but fuck that, man. You don't have to fucking. What are they, Dark Knight fans or something? They don't have to like cut their cheeks to show their tribe, whatever. Like the mark of the tribe, eh? Like, you gotta show your loyalty. You want to be one of us. You gotta
cut your face.
Because we're Dark Knight fans, you gotta look like the Joker, And the poor little kid, eh?
Yeah.
Like, fuck getting killed by the gun. Fucking slashed her cheeks, man.
Bro, and she just got her. She just asked her dad for a hammer.
She just got a hammer too. So, yeah, unless Ellie turns into John Matrix and goes up against those by the army, then I don't know how they're gonna do this. How Ellie's gonna face up to a whole army and a fucking tank, bro.
Yeah, well, how many guys were there at the place when Joel died? There's probably roughly around about 5 or 4 of them, eh? Of the ones that she wants to actually kill. She's gonna get through her army to get to those guys. I wouldn't be surprised if each one of them are like a captain or something.
Well, if you remember the episode on season 1 when they find that town, I think they went somewhere. I think it was Atlanta, or Georgia.
Yeah,
a town in Georgia.
It took them a while to get to where the hospital before they found the dead bodies of their comrades.
No, but the episode where there was the army there already there. Remember? And that's where we first remember they find those 2 black boys.
Yeah, that's right.
And they helped them escape. But
those guys got.
There's an army that town had an army.
Yeah, they got wasted too.
Yeah, they did get wasted. But that's Ellie's experience of trying to escape an army. Like at least she knows what an army looks like. In that she was in the episode of Joe when trying to escape the army.
Don't try and tell me she's going to use the same tactic.
I don't think she uses the same tactic. I'm just saying, like, she's got experience.
Yeah.
The experience of being amongst, being one. There are 4 people, there's 2 black boys, Joe and her, against
And
their
the whole
fucking whole
army.
army. But they were
Yeah.
lucky that the hordes of zombies stopped the day. And that's when we first saw the big one.
Yeah,
The
the
big
bloater,
zombie.
right?
Yeah, the bloater.
They
But-
were aware of it, though, that gang. But it was just because the lady was too focused on the other problem. She let that problem go and it got in their face. Damn.
Yeah, bad leadership.
Hard up.
Bad leadership. And that's one of the themes I find with Last of Us is leadership. How good a leader are you? How good a leader are you for a community? How good a leader are you when you are a person like Joe? What sort of decisions do you make to win the mission or to stay alive? In this case, in season 1's case, how to survive. What are your decisions? And at the same time, the community or the army that they're faced against, what are their choices? What are their choices to keep their community intact? Do they be like a fear? Do they rule by fear? Because it's all about survival, right? Like if you're in the community, and this is the good things and these are some of the themes you get from Walking Dead as well. Like when Rick and the crew meet each community in different seasons, like how do these communities govern? How do they apply order to their community? Because it's fucking apocalypse everywhere in the whole world. In America, everyone's like, if you go out in the open by yourself, you're gonna die. The zombies are gonna get you, right? So how do you survive? You got to band together in small communities, right? But these communities don't talk to each other, so you got to govern each community individually. And how do you do that? Right?
They all
That's why
have
you
their
get
own.
yeah, they have their own ways of doing it. So
Yeah.
and that's interesting, and that's what I find interesting about Last of Us, especially. And this is one of my favorite things about this episode was the community of Jackson. How they have their meetings,
the votes.
how they solve problems. Like if there's a problem comes up, how do they solve it? How do they discuss it as a township? How do they agree or disagree on matters that arise, right? And to me, that's that first scene when they have the meeting to discuss whether they send 16 guys out with Ellie to take revenge on Joel. Like that was my favorite scene in the whole episode. How about you?
Yeah. It was funny because me and my mum were she was watching it with us, and she was going, "Oh, why did they just let the girl take the, go take the guys and then kill those people and then come back?" And I was telling her, "Well, they just survived a horde attack. They've lost so many of their people and probably resources as well to try and repair everything. So they're on the fence on whether they should help or not, and it makes sense. And it's good to see the community come together to come to a vote to choose whatever the outcome is. So I enjoyed that scene as well.
So I actually agreed with that white girl that stood up in the beginning.
Yeah, me too.
Because she said exactly the same things that I would be concerned. Look, man, Joe's the only one. Yeah, we all love Joe, man. We love Joe. He's the man, and we all want to take revenge. But he's not the only one that died, man.
But in saying that, I do agree with the old guy as well. Like the old fellow just before Ellie spoke. I agree. If you don't do anything about it, if you get bullied, then people will just come over and bully you again. So it's best to send the message out that, hey, you can't come here and just bully us. You can't come here and take us out all the time to your liking.
Were you surprised that he was the one that said it?
Nah, I kind of had a funny feeling he would. He looks
the
like
one that
the
caused
old
trouble
school type.
He was the one that caused trouble with Ellie and Dinah in the first place.
Yeah, that's the reason why I wasn't surprised at all. He looked old school.
Ellie didn't appreciate that, and she didn't really. It looked like she didn't appreciate his apology or didn't forgive him when he did apologize last episode.
She holds a grudge, eh?
She holds a grudge, and when he stuck up for her, it was funny because what he said, I think, is what Ellie wanted to say.
Yeah, she was thinking that straight up.
But the thing is, she couldn't say it like that because remember she got that advice from the Asian dude, the guy that's now on the council, her mate.
Yeah.
and she said, "Hey, you're a hothead. You know, that's why we know she's a hothead. You can't just go and fucking do your argument on the spot because you're angry, and you'll say some dumb shit. So write things down, get your thoughts and all that, write it down, and that's what you say on the day. And it worked, because
Yeah.
when she did her speech, when Ellie finally did her speech, man, it was a nice speech, It was good,
Yep.
She said
But
all
it
the
was
right
bullshit.
things in a formal sort of way. But yeah, you're right. It was all bullshit, Like, and that's why she had a little smile when her mate, the old man, homophobe guy, he
I
was
know
like,
this type of guys. Hey.
he was straight up nutsy with his opinion,
Yeah.
and he did it in a way where it's like straight up, like, fuck this, man. We gotta get these motherfuckers, man. Like, fuck, they came into our house, did their shit. We can't let that happen, man. We gotta go back and fucking stomp on their shit. And
Yeah.
like, and she was smiling because, yeah, man, that's what I would have said. But I can't, because if I said that, I definitely won't get the
I get
16
it.
men.
Yeah.
So I'll do my speech. So she did a speech, man. So that's what happened.
I
But
like the impact of the old guy's speech here when he goes, "Oh, you bunch of victims."
a
I was
bunch of
like,
victims,
shit.
yeah.
Playing the victim.
Yeah. And it's funny because, when he gave her the gun, when she was going on the horse with Dinah to go, he was going to open the gate for them to go out and shoot.
Yeah.
And Ellie, she was a bit
She still.
she still didn't want to, make friends with him, eh?
Yeah. So if that's what she's like, with something small like that, you can only imagine what she's gonna do with those other guys.
Mm.
So it's like, shit. She's really bad.
Yeah. So back to the council scene. So there was a vote, and she got 3 yeses, and the rest were no's. So who do you think those yeses were from?
Probably Tommy, the Asian guy, and maybe Tommy's wife or
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah, that makes sense. 3 people that's on Joel's side, eh?
Mm.
And the rest no.
Well, you can see the nose straight away. I could see some of the nose already. Like some of them were shaking their heads. They go, okay, that's a no. Like two of them I saw shaking their heads. They were definitely no's. So it would have been the rest of them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that scene was the best scene in the whole episode. Just the way we get to see how this community, how this community works, and it's a democracy, right? It's like we need the vote of everybody. Everybody in town needs to hear this, give their opinions, and then we'll form a conclusion. And that's the way it is.
That's probably
it's like typical democracy sort of system, which is what America's built upon. But compare that to one of these systems we've seen in Walking Dead, where it's ruled by a guy like Negan. Like Negan's like, no, fuck yous, man. You're under me, and that's it. I'm the man. You do what I say.
There's nothing like that.
There's no like community, like there's still a vote.
It's only fair.
Like a dictatorship, eh? So you're gonna get some dictatorships around, and I reckon there's a dictatorship over in Seattle with those WLFs there.
Yeah, well,
they got the guns, they got the tanks. Like you can imagine how they rule their community. It's by fear, right? I think they got one guy that's the boss. He's the leader. He's like a Negan, right?
It might be similar to the ladies one. How that lady was running that city to the shit. The one with the two, where Joe and when them were in season 1. Would be something similar but more organized by the looks of it.
Yeah, and in season 1 when they're in Georgia, and that first town they went to with the army. Like, how did they rule? It looks like there are 2 factions, eh? Remember she had those guys imprisoned?
Yeah, that's right.
And they were looking for the other faction. So yeah, it's brutal. It's a brutal. The apocalypse is brutal, bro. You don't know if you're alone and you want to go find a community. It's like the luck of the draw, if this community is good or bad. Like if this is the way you want to live or not, eh?
Hard.
So, Jackson, they're probably the community you want to get to, eh? Community that's got families, and we don't want any trouble, but we need to uphold the rules around here.
Man, after seeing that scene with the meeting, I was like, man, I would rather be in that community if I was stuck in the apocalypse. He's not hanging out with Rick and them. Fuck that. Shit.
Yeah.
Bunch of crazy killers.
I mean, it's funny because remember when the first guy talking was the guy you want to do the corn, talking about the corn, like that's a fair. Hey man, if you're in a community, man, you gotta talk about stuff that make you survive for generations, man. And this,
And he had a point.
we're talking about agriculture, man. You gotta go back to the roots of agriculture. Like he was talking about, I think he was talking about like we shouldn't be raising chickens, we should be raising turkeys.
Yeah,
Raising
something
turkeys,
about
and we need
easier to raise them more. Yeah,
and we need to plant corn. We need to make corn because it harvests faster. But man,
yeah, there's a greater yield. I was cracking up at that, and then I think let's talk about what we really want to talk about.
yo, they just cut them off, And I was thinking, bruh, if I was in the council or in that town, hey man, that's the most important thing, man. That's how. Hey man, we don't want to be hungry, man. We need to talk about this shit, man. We need that corn. But the council's like, hey man, fuck your corn, man. We're gonna talk about some fucking serious shit. They're trying to take away 16 of our good men, man.
There's 16 men. We're the ones that gonna plant your corn, bro.
Oh man. So I was like, yeah, I find that all interesting, eh?
Me too.
And can you imagine if there was apocalypse here in Oakland? Like Ranui had to like make a community. Like how would we run this community, man? Like who's gonna be in charge of Ranui's community, man? We have to we're all stuck in now. Like from Universal Drive, we need to do a border around Ranui, Universal Drive, Don Buck, up Glen Road, up Swanson, and everybody that's within that catchment. That's our community, man. Yeah, but how do we govern that, man? Like how do we stop? You think about it. How hard is it gonna be?
Yeah, when you said that, shut off the top of my head, I can think of one person. But then you need like a board, like how they have it in Jackson. They have a bunch of hit people or whatever you call them.
Okay, we get Ranui 135 to be the council, man. Get Rob.
Yes, that's who I was thinking
of. The mayor of Get Rob. You're the mayor of Ranui, man. For our community, like what we're gonna do, man? We're gonna keep these fucking zombies out of our space, man.
You can be the head of the board of the committee.
But now I can understand why some of these communities get into the fucking arguments, and next minute there's like a dictator.
Yeah,
because there's egos, man. People want to be the leader. People think they're like the man, and then next minute it's the strongest survive, eh? The strongest survive, and the weak gets kicked out or just gets killed, man. So
yeah, hold up. Nah, I've never seen there's hardly ever scenes like that in Walking Dead. There are where they are trying to, plan, get things sorted, but nothing like this. This was on. This was pretty on to it. It was more realistic too, in a way. I think I could see things like this happening if there was something like in the apocalypse.
Because at the end of the thing, they said no to it, the vote say.
Yeah. But I actually thought that's what they were going to say. It was kind of, I think it was a no-brainer in the long term of things.
But then, Ellie goes anyway. I think did she actually need the 16 guys to go with her? Like in hindsight, if you look at it, like see the army there on the face, surely a lot of them would get killed, eh?
Yeah, lucky they didn't go because they would have been spotted straight away. Someone would have seen those 16, like a little militia coming towards their home. They would have got spotted. But with Ellie and Dana, it'll be hard to spot them because they're only 2 people on the horse. So maybe they might end up getting closer than 16 or 18 guys.
I feel like the dynamics changed now. Because now, with no Joel, you don't really have an action hero. A guy that can, that can come in and save the day sort of thing. Like now, you know what I mean? Like the adult head in the space. Now you got 2 kids, man. You got 2 kids. Dinah, and now it's turned into like a teenager adventure with guns. So, yeah, I felt like that this episode, especially when they left Jackson and they were traveling.
Yeah.
But especially in the scene when they're going to sleep in the
In
tent,
the camp.
in the camp thing, is like, okay, are they gonna get it on? But nah, because Dinah, I think she's a player, eh? Because man, she's just went, oh yeah, good night, turn around and went to sleep. Hey, and Ellie looked at Ellie, she's like expecting something to happen. Eh? She's like, man, remember when we had that kiss at the party? And this was going for her head, but Dinah went, oh, nah, I'm going to sleep. See ya. And she rolled over and went to sleep. It's like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, then later on she goes, I wasn't that high. I was like, what's that supposed to mean?
Oh, see, she's playing hard to get. She's doing a trick she did on the Asian dude, man. Because when they're going out, and they kiss, and the Asian dude was like, oh yeah, so what? I don't care.
Yeah. Because like he already knew, kind of. But yeah, these kids in their games.
Mm.
It's like, shit, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I thought that was weird.
Mm.
But then you think about it, like two girls camping all by themselves. If this militia finds them, man, I mean, this army, shit, what can they do? Well, I guess we'll find out.
I don't even know what's gonna happen, man. I don't even know what's gonna happen. Have you asked Joe about that episode through the game?
Yeah, well, I haven't talked to him yet about it because I think he's still watching Endor.
Oh yeah.
So he's still got another like couple of more hours to go.
Yeah. So yeah, I get tempted now and then to watch the whole gameplay. Maybe watch it until the part we're up to.
Yeah, I've been to as well, but now Joe's watched the whole thing. So I was like, oh, what a cheater. So he's trying to see like how different it is from the game, and already he's seen some differences already.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it wasn't. I don't think it was a too bad episode. I think what saved this episode was that we didn't stay long in Jackson.
Yeah,
I think it's good that we left Jackson and went to Seattle. Got to Seattle straight away.
Yeah.
I mean that took away my thinking of having an adventure. Because when on season 1 when we leave New York, eh? Were they in New York?
I think so.
When they left New York to go to the Fireflies, the whole season 1 is about their journey, eh? So each of their stops was an episode and an adventure towards getting to their world. I thought that was going to be the case here, but nah. Episode 3 already in Seattle, so I guess most of the action throughout the rest of the season will be in Seattle.
Yeah, it looks like a lot's going to happen in Seattle.
I don't see any zombies around there. I wonder if this army, this WLF, is taking care of all the zombies in that city.
Shit, I hope so. Not like the other army.
And what was the reason for killing those drunken people?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Were they just intimidated by them, or are those guys a threat as well? Is there more of them? Because there has to be more.
After all, there was a kid there. They even killed a kid. Yeah. Especially, man, if you're gonna walk around with scars on your face or your whole crew and bald heads, looking like a cult. I mean, then what kind of that kind of cult with the same scars on your cheek? Inflict pain on yourself to be in this gang. Fuck that, man. Must be something wrong with this crew, man. Is better off dead. That's probably what they're thinking.
Oh my gosh, that's ruthless.
But then it might not even be them, eh? It might not be someone totally different. So, because if they could kill that crew straight away and the kid, man, they can't. They will never let Ellie and Dinah just waltz in like they are doing with their horse and let them in like that.
Well, one thing I noticed about when they showed the army and stuff, there's not really. I don't see any like women and kids there, unless they're gonna show that later, show their community. But all we're seeing is the army in it, like what they have, what they're rolling with, and man, this stuff looks brand new. Even like the Hummers in it look brand new.
Got that guy that's up there and being a lookout.
Yeah, Mr. Asshole. It's the one that kicked Ellie.
Oh, is that the same guy?
Yeah. It's the one that kicked her in the guts.
Right. So he'll be the first to die. So maybe Ellie's gonna hunt them down one by one. Like John Rambo.
If she does it like that, then she might have a chance. She might go under the radar.
Or maybe she goes in and they make her one of them. Hey, there's. And maybe no one recognizes her.
Shit, that'll be even worse.
And she like,
Oh, Dana could be one of them.
yeah.
Depending.
I mean, I thought it was a good way to, if anything, they're gonna have this episode after one of the best episodes last episode. I think that's the best they could do. To push the story forward and not be boring and not dwell on the whole aftermath of what happened to Jackson.
Yep.
And yeah, man, we're straight into it. Sweet. Have you got any more thoughts on that episode?
Nah. It's just it's good. It was alright episode to me, but yeah, just glad it moved the story along as it did.
Sweet. All right, that's us for The Last of Us.
Sweet.
Episode 3. We'll be back next week for episode 4. So tune into channel 1 through 5 to get all your latest movies, TV shows, updates, and opinions. Thanks, Us, for jumping on board.
Okay,
see you real soon. Like real soon. All right,